it is 1 o'clock. It is 1 p.m. And you know what time that is. It is time for a VO's Journey YouTube show. Yay! I swear, cheers. I will insert cheers there. No, not really, because it's live. Anyways, this show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. Now, if you hear a loud noise in the background, that's because the lawn is being done today, which I'm not quite sure why it's getting done, because it's raining, it's cold, my lawn has not grown any, and there's really not that many leaves, but we have a lot of trees. So I have a friend who I work, who I hire to come like once a month and do some just clean up in the yard. And apparently they're outside doing that right now. So I apologize for the noise, but because they're like, I think they're right outside the window. Anyways, today I wanted to come and talk to you guys about lead measures. And you might be, gosh, that's loud. You might be asking, well, Anthony, what in the world is lead measures? What are you talking about? Why do I need lead measures for my voiceover business? Well, I want to talk to you about goals, and hopefully you set some. You're working towards them right now. You're working very hard and diligently for your goals you set for 2020. And I want to talk about lead measures and focusing on what's really important. I don't know if you guys can hear that. They're literally right out there. I mean, it's super loud. Anyways, see, that's why I have a whisper room, but I'm not in the whisper room, so I apologize. But anyways, it's like bothering me. A lead measure is a action that you can physically take that can be manipulated by you or done by you, okay? And also can directly reflect the outcome of what you're trying to accomplish. Now, you might be saying, why are we talking about lead measures? Well, I think there's two ways to measure success and goals that you have, right? And that you're trying to reach in your business. One way to measure that success is through what we call lag measures, all right? And a lag measure is like the total result. And we call it a lag measure because it lags behind, okay, what has actually happened. So perfect example would be like, I want to make $1,000 this month from my voiceover business. At the end of the month, you add up all the money you made, okay, and let's say you made like $950. That $950 that you made at the end of the month, that's a lag measure. And that's great. It's very easy to do lag measures. The problem with lag measures is that lag measures are after the fact, meaning that we can't use them anymore. Like we can't manipulate them because they are already done. They lag behind the actual actions that are taking place to generate the goal or the completion of that goal, right? So that's what a lag measure is. A lead measure is measures or actions that we can measure that go in before that lag measure happens, right? So, perfect example. If I'm trying to make $950 a month in voiceover, all right, measuring the lag measure is $950 a month. The lead measure would be, what actions do I take every single day to reach that $950? Okay, they have to be repeatable, all right? They have to be doable by me and repeatable, and they have to be predictable, meaning that they can predict the outcome. So if, for example, one thing that you could do every day is if you were on Fiverr, you could make sure that one of your lead measures are, did you do your 10 requests, your 10 job requests a day, right? On the Fiverr, your buyer requests, okay? Did you do your 10 buyer requests that day? So for each day, a lead measure could be 10 buyer requests. So you send out 10 each day. So by the end of the month, if you calculate 30 days, right, that's 300 buyer requests that you sent out to possible clients. That is a lead measure because we know that you can physically control it And you can also predict that if you send those out, you're going to get business. All right. So that is an example of a lead measure. Another example of a lead measure would be auditioning. Okay. Each day, let's say you audition for, 5 auditions. It doesn't matter where you audition, whether it's for audiobooks or whether it's on voices.com or whether it's on the Voice Realm or wherever you audition. But let's say you do 5 auditions. So you do 5 auditions each day, no matter what, nonstop, you do 5 auditions. At the end of the month, you measure that up, right? You did 150 auditions. Adding that up at the end of the month is a lag measure, but each day is a lead measure because it is repeatable by you and it predicts the outcome. All right. I don't often do this, but I thought I don't recommend books on the show, although I don't know why I don't, because I read a lot. And this book actually comes from, can you see that? It's called The 4 Disciplines of Execution. It's a fantastic book by Sean Covey, and it goes into taking goals and everything and actually narrowing your focus down to accomplish your goals. And I've had this book for a while. I've talked about it in the past, but I felt like with everything that's going on today, being it's January 7th and we're all pushing forward, trying to accomplish our goals and make more money and deal with the slowdown in January, because if you haven't felt it, January is traditionally slow, right? For all of us, we spend less money in January. Everybody does. Okay. But the thing is that accomplishing our goals is possible, but measuring them and figuring out those two different things, lead measures and lag measures, I think can be a determining factor whether you succeed or not. So the first part of the process, of course, before we even do that, right, is actually choosing what your goal is. And here's the thing. I assumed while we were talking about this that you've already chosen your goals for 2020. But I'm going to challenge you to actually shift focus a little bit and actually narrow down your goals to like one really big goal. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that you got to stop doing business, because we can't. We all have to do the work we got to do, right? But I want you to narrow your focus down to like one wildly important goal. In the book, they called it wildly important goals, or WIGs. All right. WIG. Meaning like it's a focus on one specific goal. Okay. And the way we do that is we continue running our business, but we pick one thing, and that is the thing that we spend all the extra mental time focusing on. Any extra time that we have, we make time for. That is what the one thing we really focus on, not 5 or 10 things, right? Because if we narrow our focus on one thing, we're going to accomplish it a lot more than if we're trying to accomplish 5 or 10 things at the same time. Okay, so it's important to have a narrow focus goal. With that goal, you want to have a place to where you are, okay, where you're going to go, and by when. That's super important. All right, so I want to go from $500 a month to $1,000 a month by June 1st, 2020. Okay, so now you have set a wildly important goal where you have identified where you are, identified where you need to go, and you've identified by when. Now we need to come up with the lead measures that are going to get us there. Those lead measures, again, are the daily activities that you can do that are repeatable and also are predictable for the outcome. You can predict the outcome by doing them, all right, or influence the outcome. And then lag measures are how we measure at the end of the month. Did you reach that goal or not? Did you make, $1,000 or not? Okay, but again, lag measures lag behind the actual actions, like lead measures lead the actions. Does that make sense? So my question to you, When you've come up with this goal and the goals you have right now, are you actually using these lead measures as I've described them, or are you more focusing on the total amount that ends up at the end of every month or after the end that you're finished? What are you measuring, and how are you changing the way it happens? Let me give you another example. Let's like weight loss, okay? So a lag measure in weight loss would be, you lose 20 pounds. Right? At the end of the month or at the end of 3 months, did you lose your 20 pounds? Yes or no? That's a lag measure. Lead measures were going to be diet and exercise, measuring the food that you eat and also measuring how much exercise you do a day. All right. Those are lead measures because we can repeat those, we can actually influence those, and we can predict the outcome. If we do a good diet and we do exercise and we do those things together, we're going to lose weight. Okay? That's something that helps you actually predict. And a lot of times I believe that we're not reaching our goals because we're focusing on the wrong things. All right. And we get scatterbrained and we're doing all of these things instead of focusing on, 1 to 3 lead measures that actually will push forward the goal. Does that make sense? So lag measures, again, is what lags behind. That doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything to the goal. But lead measures actually pushes them forward. Okay, so that's my spiel for today. I would love for you to really look at your business and the goals that you've set and to ask yourself, are you focusing on the lead measures, the activities that are influenceable by you and that you can predict the outcome by doing them, okay, every single day? Or are you focusing solely on the lag measure, meaning like you just are trying to reach that number at the end of the month, and as the end of the month comes, you tally everything up, but there's not really anything that's pushing forward your, actions to get you to that lag measure. All right? I really challenge you to do it and give it a shot. And don't be afraid. Message me. That's fine. Post in the group. Leave a comment here afterwards. I'd love to hear what you're talking about. Also, what I'm going to be doing too in the Fiverr Elite group that I run is that we're going to be implementing this with those group members. And I know there's many watching now, but we're going to be doing this. And part of this strategy and the 4 disciplines of execution, because I said 4 and I only told you 2. The other 2 kind of go more towards a group setting, meaning that there is a competitive nature to this as well that you can do as a group. And also you can add on to weekly meetings. So, what I've set up with the Fiverr Elite group where we meet every week, we're going to have competitions for these goals with prizes and things like that, as well as, weekly meetings to break down what we're doing and if we're accomplishing them. So it's really exciting. I'm excited about unveiling that to the Fiverr Elite group. And if you're interested in that group, we meet every weekend and stuff, and there'll be links below, and I've said it a million times. So anyways, but right now, real quick, I'd like to ask if you have any questions about lead measures, lag measures, setting goals in this manner, because a lot of times the goals we set are like, I want to make $100,000 this year. That's a great goal, right? But it's very vague, right? Because it doesn't tell you, where you're going to, where you are, where you're going to, and by when. Now we just said I want to make $1,000 this year, so that's or $100,000 this year, so that's there. But it doesn't kind of tell you any more than that, like where we are, how we're going to get there, right? So that's where all of these measures come in. And, then what you can do is you can break down each goal after that. Like, so that's your wildly important goal. And then underneath that, right, there's going to be criteria. So like if you want to reach I want to go from $50,000 a year to $100,000 a year, from my revenue from my voiceover business in 2020, Okay. Then each month I break that down. Okay. So if that's $100,000, that's like what, $8,000 a month or so, or like $9,000 a month or so, something like that around there. So I say, okay, so now I want to make $9,000 a month. So then you can break that down. If you're making $4,000 a month, I'm just doing these numbers really quick off the top of my head, so I apologize, right? So I'm going to go from $4,000 a month in voiceovers to $9,000 a month in voiceovers, by the end of when. See, now that's another thing, right? Is it a realistic goal? Are you going to have to raise that, like maybe in 6 months? By June, I want to be making $9,000 a month from the $4,000 a month I'm making right now. So I have 6 months to do that. So to work backward from that, what are lead measures that we can do? Well, you can say, right, that like, for example, I'm doing, 5 auditions, right? And 5 auditions a day. Maybe I need to do 10 auditions a day. And then you're like, man, Anthony, that's a lot. But you got to figure out what you can do, right, to do that. And then that is a repeatable and a predictable lead measure that you can do every single day, all right, which will push forward your activities. Maybe you need to send out 10 emails a day instead of 5. Maybe you need to make, I don't know, you get what I'm saying, right? So anyways, this is the idea. I just wanted to talk to you guys about that because even me, I pull out the books that I have and that I read from now and again to refresh my memory and keep me on point and target, and I'm going to be launching a whole new set of courses that I can't even go into right now, but I'm really excited about it. And it's going to take a long while, but it's going to be really cool. So I'm excited about that. But because of that, it's got to take a lot of planning and so forth. So anyways, if you have any questions, any thoughts, I'd love for you to go ahead and talk to or post them now. Let's see who we've got. We've got Jason on Instagram. What's up, man? We've got BDogAt45 on YouTube. We got Thomas on Facebook. What's up? We got Richard Hawks on YouTube. What's up? We got Storm. Hey, we got Brad. We got John Clark on Facebook. Wolf Creek Training and Consulting LLC on YouTube. Good to have you. Zach, what's up, man? My number one goal is to set some goals. Zach, that's funny. YouTube, we got Switch Gaming. Hey, what's up? It's going well, man. Brad, that's some great info. Holding yourself accountable. Absolutely. And it's not just holding yourself accountable, absolutely right, but it's also setting yourself up for success. I think sometimes we fail at an endeavor because we haven't put ourselves in a situation or given ourselves the tools or looked at the situation or the activity or the goal or the objective in a manner in which we can actually achieve it. Do you know what I mean? And, sometimes it's just a simple switch of the way you think and the way you act that can make all the difference in the world, right? So good deal. John, so lead measures are what we do to achieve the goal and lag measures are the target goal. Right. Yeah. So lag measures are what we measure, well, here, what, this is a way to do it too. So we could say like, I want to, cause this is set up, we can use these lead and lag measures for small businesses like ourselves, or you can use them for big corporations, where they want to raise revenue by, 10% or something like that. But yes, absolutely. Lead measures are what we do every single day, but it's simple, but it's tricky. The tricky part is that, lead measures, you have to make sure, okay, that you can influence the lead measure, meaning that you have something to do with it, meaning you control the action of it, and that it also can predict, by doing it, you can predict the outcome, right? So you might say, well, Anthony, if I'm auditioning, how could I predict the outcome? I'm glad you asked. That's by data collection. Okay, so that's why doing this, it gives you an idea that if you do 5 auditions a day and then after a month, right, that's 150 auditions. After a month, you find that you made $1,000. Okay, well then it stands to reason that if you want to make $2,000, you'd have to double it, or you have to change what you're auditioning for. right? You have to change your price. So you have variables here, but the point is that these lead measures and these lag measures, they help you see all of that, and then you can make changes to them in order to reach the goals, right? So good question, and well, good comment, John. William, great stuff, Anthony. Thanks, man. This brings the goals to a more obtainable and realistic approach. Yeah. Side question, could you possibly one day show how your booth is set up? Just curious to see. Absolutely. Actually, William, I did an entire video where I gave a tour of my booth and my setup and everything, and you could find it on the YouTube channel, but I'll definitely look at doing that again. So Eric said, just got here. I cut a business lunch short. Well, I'm glad you're here, Eric. Thanks, man. John, what platform do you use to publish your courses? Excellent. So I actually use a website called Kajabi, and I will post a link below, and you can use that link to go and check it out. It's a website. Well, it's a hosting service. And they offer website services that is completely set up for these purposes of hosting digital content and so forth like that, educational content. So I use Kajabi. It's Kajabi. But if you like, I'll put a post below. I think there's an affiliate program, so you're more than welcome to sign up through my affiliate link. But anyways, I'll post that below and you can check it out. Let's see. I'm such an idiot. Colin, pure gold, consistency. Ain't that the truth? Let's see. Eric says, since I got here late, I will have to go back and watch this later, but I wrote all my VO goals down with dates and amounts. Thanks for the suggestion. Eric, that's perfect that you put this in here. And absolutely, and that's great, right? You wrote down your goals with the dates that you wanted to do and with the amounts that you want to do. That's fantastic. What I want you to do now is to go back, and I want you to figure out what I was talking about today, the lead measures. And the lead measures are the things that you're going to do every single day that you can measure, okay, that will be influenceable by you, meaning that you can actually physically do each day, and that will help you predict those amounts by those dates. Does that make sense? So that at the end of the day, you say, okay, well, today I want to do 10 auditions and send 5 emails. Okay? Well, at the end of the day, you can measure, did you do 10 auditions and did you do 5 emails? Okay? That's a lead measure. But here's the thing. Those lead measures, right, you were able to do them, meaning you influence the outcome of them, and then they predict that if you do them, you are going to get to that amount by the date that you want to do. And you have to adjust as you start to see the results of your lead measures. And that's the key, is lead measures allow you to adjust along the way, as opposed to lag measures are over, right? It's already done. You cannot adjust when you measure the lag measure, because it's already over. The month is over, or the 6 months are over. Right? So the lead measures allow you to adjust along the way so that you can actually reach the goal that you've set. Make sense? Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much. If you have any other questions or comments real quick, go ahead and post them. I know there's a little delay between the time you post and the time I see it. So go ahead and do that. John says, I'm looking at my targets for the year. These are split into quarters and prioritized based upon minimal usable subset to achieve the goal. Yeah, cool, man. Absolutely. Just remember again, the daily activities that you can measure, those lead measures, are what drives the whole machine. And most of us don't focus on them because, and here's the thing, you know how I just said that you have to review the data as it comes in from your lead measures? Let's be honest, that can be difficult, meaning you have to collect that data. You have to see that after 10 days, you're not getting any traction by doing this. You might have to switch up. It's harder to measure, the predictability of the outcome of the goals or the lead measures that you're doing, right? So it's so much easier to measure the lag measures. So we do the lag measures a lot more, but we mix them up with lead measures. So remember the criteria with the lead measures, right? The lead measures mean that it's influenceable by you at that moment, and that it will predict the outcome of you completing that goal, right? So just remember those two criteria. Let's see, Colin. How long after completing a Fiverr course do you get a bump in the impressions? It's usually within the week. And then it lasts for about a week or two. Okay? And then also that depends too upon what boost you get from the business you get from it. All right, Julie, hey, what's going on? Got Julie on Instagram. So look for it in about a week, and also look for the boost to be about a week to 2 weeks long, and then dependent upon the boost that you get as well from the extra business coming in, okay? Because that also boosts you. If you've ever noticed, you get a boost in your numbers when you do a job and you get a review, etc. You get boosted up in the rankings. All right, good question. John says, thanks for today's session. As always, they are very thought-provoking. Thanks, John. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Remember, if you're interested, sign up for that Fiverr Elite group. I got some amazing things coming. Also, I've got some stuff coming, like with a VO's Journey, some gear. I want like some gear. I don't know about you, but I like wearing like cool stuff with logos on it. So I'm gonna get some shirts and some sweaters and some coffee mugs. I can't believe I don't have a coffee mug yet with a VO's Journey on it. So I'm gonna be getting some of those soon and coming up with getting these things out there. So anywho, but I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. I will talk to you tomorrow. Oh no, we've got a question, a last minute question. I did the whole spiel too. Let me see. Steve, newbie questions. My granddaughters want in on this. They are around 9. Can they do it? Steve, the way I do, my son is 11 and he does some voiceovers. So everything that your kids do, of course, it's under you. So, it's kind of one of those things, just like child actors, right? I mean, there is laws around all of that. And, so it wouldn't be a bad idea that if you want them to really launch their own business, to look into the child labor laws, right? Which, if you know history, I'm a history buff, right? Was set up originally from people like Shirley Temple, who they took advantage of. Of course, then they shipped her to Canada. Anyways, that's another story. So, but the point is I would check that out if you want to set them up. But in the end, it's set up under a business that you would manage until they turn 18 years old. Okay. But there are some laws that are based around how long they can work, et cetera, et cetera. And it does fall under kind of entertainment because, we're pretty much classified necessarily as entertainment and marketing, but that kind of thing. So you could definitely go on, Google and just look up child labor laws and look up child actors and actresses and kind of get into depth about the laws surrounding it. But in general, like my son, I mean, if there's a voiceover that someone wants and they ask for they need a young boy's voice, I'll bring in my son and pay him a few bucks and get him, because it's more important to me that he learns the ins and outs of how to record and stuff necessarily than him running his a business at this point. So I'm assuming that's what you want to do too, is just get them used to it. Now on Fiverr, there are some people that do this. You can post gigs under your name, because there's a couple on there with children, you know what I mean? But you just have to be aware that it does go under your account. And if something happens, you know what I mean, and your child's sick or you can't have them do something, you just have to think about that and how it affects your account. So that's a good question. And I've seen people do it on Fiverr. And there's one boy who has had a bunch, and because his dad does it as well, and he's on Fiverr. I think he's a top-rated seller, his dad is, and his son's on the account, or his son has his own gig through the dad's gig. And, it's fine. I mean, there's a lot of people out there looking for child actors, you know what I mean, and voiceover artists. So, it's not a bad idea, but just be aware that it's tied to them. And as always, when the rubber meets the road, we have to do things we don't want to do. The question is, you want to put your kids through that, and that's totally up to you. All right, good question though, man. Good question. All right, you guys, I got to go. I got a meeting at 1:30. I will talk to you soon. Happy Tuesday. See you tomorrow. Goodbye. Goodbye.